pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just a couple of things before we get started. If you haven't already done so, we'd please ask you to silence your cell phones. Keep in mind that these meetings are televised live, so when you approach the podium, please let us know who you are, the company you represent, and you can lay out your plans at the table next to the podium. So we'll get started tonight with have your agenda there for a second. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to get started with DRB 2023-12, the application of Maine Technique Hair at 322 East Lancaster Avenue in Wayne. Okay. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Kara Katagnis. I'm here to represent Mean Techniques.
Great. Nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having us. My name is Mary Tomasetti, and I'm also an owner of Mean Techniques.
Okay, great, great. All right, so you're going to be a new business in town, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
So we're existing just at a different location a mile away.
Great.
Same township, though.
All right, well, welcome to town.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so you've got a pretty extensive plan here, so
I do.
why don't you walk us through what you have in mind, and we'll start with your ground sign. How's that?
Absolutely, sounds good.
Okay.
So everyone has the pages all in the same order, right? That we gave it to you?
Sorry, can I interrupt? You said you're in the township already?
We are currently in the township. We are operating out of a different space.
Different name or same name?
Same name,
Okay.
but it's within Sola Salon Studios in the Devon Square Shopping Center.
Gotcha.
So we're technically a suite in there, so we don't currently have a storefront.
Got it.
And then,
Recognize the name, so that's why.
yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. So the first picture shows where we have everything that we'll be talking about, so I'll leave that for reference. The standalone monument sign. This one specifically, we have two on here. One is 12 feet and one is 8 feet. I'm aware that 12 feet is much higher than what you typically allow. I know that 8 feet is typically the standard, but due to the view of where our building sits, we would love to see if we'd be able to have it be a little bit taller so that it's more visible. If you look at go to the next page for me, Kara. One after. Yeah. So if you look here, this tree is right near where the CVS is, so as you're pulling up, you can't see our space at all, and with it being 8 feet high, you're able to see over it, but you're not able to see it. Our building sits much further back from the WSFS and the CVS. They're both much more forward, and they do allow for lighting. Like, they are able to have brighter lights in the front. They have the WSFS up here, larger, obviously, legible, and then they have multiple signs, and CVS, they have the light up and then the post. Due to the nature of our building, or of our business, the post sign, we don't feel like it's as luxurious of a look as we go for. I think the monument sign is definitely more of a luxurious feel. So that is why we do not want to do the post, although we know that can be higher. So we wanted to see if there's any way that you would allow it to be above 8 feet.
Well, I don't think that we have that authority based upon what the code is. We're bound by what the code says. Obviously, if you disagree with what we're allowed to give pursuant to the code, then you could seek relief from the zoning hearing board. But we don't have that authority. We're ancillary to them, so
Okay.
we can only operate based upon what the code says. So we're limited to only being able to approve a monument sign that's at max 8 feet tall, and at this location, 30 feet in square maximum of 30 square feet.
Yeah, your size is too large, too. So you're
So-
40.
Even if you're looking at drawing, if we, to, you're on drawing 3, but if you go back to the monument signs, I think they're drawing 1 and 1.1. So obviously, drawing 1 being 12 feet, that's just out beyond what we can actually do. And
Okay.
then if you look at 1.1, there you're also talking about the actual square footage exceeds the maximum square footage that we're allowed to approve. But I was looking at this earlier. Really, if you take the monument part, shave it down by 6 inches, then you actually hit the square footage that you'd be allowed. Just
Right.
6 inches. That's all you have to reduce the width of that portion of, and I think you'd get into the 30 exactly.
Yep, that is exactly right. Okay, so we were directed to you guys when we had originally called to see where that was because of the way that I guess it would be viewed from the street. So I guess I'll resubmit the application to coding then?
Well, no, you supply it here, and it comes to us for the design. If it's within the code, then we can go ahead and we can approve it. Ultimately, if we can work with you to modify the sign to make it to fit within the code, and then we could approve that, and you could go away with that and go ahead and go through and get the permitting and everything you need to build. Otherwise, you would have to take our ruling on this, and then I think it would be an appeal at that point up to the zoning hearing board,
Okay.
if you were seeking relief. Now, I mean, I'm not giving you legal advice, but you'd have to present a hardship, and
Of course.
I'm not certain that what you're talking about here, about a tree being there, or a tree being here, or other people having other signs that they have based upon, I mean, the Whiz Fist sign is annoying to me, but it's something that was grandfathered into where it was.
Got it.
They actually went to the zoning hearing.
And went
for
to zoning
relief.
hearing board to get
Yeah.
to the height that they're at,
Bryn Mawr trusted, previous tenant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. All right, great. All right, then to modify the current sign, the 8-foot sign, to be approved, if we were to remove the square footage to the left and the right where the 322 is, that would bring us down to the proper 30 square footage total.
I guess that's some type of cream color that's gonna be, or what?
It is, yes.
So the cream portion of it, if you reduce the cream portion of it by 6 inches, 3 inches off of each side, then I think by calculations there, you would hit the 30, the square footage.
Yes.
That's one issue with that sign, just in terms of meeting the size and the height requirements. The other issue that I have with the sign is that it goes beyond also what you're allowed to have on a sign.
Oh, okay.
So by code, you're only allowed to have your name, your address, your phone number. We do allow email address and things like that because it's modern, it's our interpretation of that. But you're not allowed to have extra descriptors of your business unless it's actually within the name of your business. That's not the case here. So the things talking about delivering superior value in hair artistry, that portion of it, and then the hair extension specialist, at least from my review, I think those would be phrases that would have to come off of the sign. They couldn't actually be on the side in order for it to comply with the code.
Okay.
Unless that's your full business.
So it is trademarked, but the full legal name is Main Techniques, and then delivering superior value in hair artistry - hair extension specialist is trademarked under our name and our LLC. So,
No, I don't think so. Unless it's your logo, but I don't see it as your logo.
so that is our logo as well. Hair extension specialist is not in our logo, but the delivering superior value in hair artistry is in our logo.
I'm not sure. That's a
Doesn't look like a
interesting
logo.
interpretation of
Yeah.
logo.
It
'Cause
doesn't
usually
seem,
a logo is
Yeah.
not like a phrase.
Right, so we use 3. We use one without it if it's not able to be visibly read. And then we also have a circle logo that we use if a circle fits in. So
Well,
those are
if-
just
if
the
you have
3.
an actual, like an actual image as a logo, then that's something that would be different.
Okay.
So if you have a logo, but what are you saying on this sign is actually a logo as compared to just,
Main Techniques, delivering superior value in hair artistry. Everything inside that black box is one of 3 of our PNG logos. And then if it's written on something that's too small to see, then we take out the bottom. And then if it's something that's in a circular something online that calls for something even smaller, it's a different trademark, or it's a different logo.
Your business license, what does that say?
Business license is Main Techniques Hair Company, LLC.
So that's for business.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's what we would be confined to in
Okay.
terms of what could be on the sign.
Okay.
All right. What else, Tim?
On that one,
On that one.
my only other issue with the monument sign is the location of the monument sign, where it's actually going to be on the plot.
Okay.
I couldn't tell from the drawings here, there's a requirement, a setback requirement of being 10 feet back from the right-of-way.
Yep.
The cart path. And then there's also just a general question here as to if you have the entrance and exits on both sides, are you going to be creating an obstacle?
So,
The sign going to actually become a visible obstacle for any traffic. And so oftentimes in that situation, especially on that corridor of Lancaster, we often ask that a site inspection be done
Absolutely.
to check the visibility, where the police will come and actually see the visibility so they can confirm that it's not going to create an impediment.
okay. All right, great. So we do currently have entrance and exit signs, and they are required because of the pass-through in our driveway on either side of the building. So the police need to check how high the sign is, or?
Well, I think we could talk about that with
Yeah.
both the monument sign and also for the directional signs.
Okay.
But I was just referring to, if we're just looking solely at the monument, those are the points that I have on the monument sign itself.
Okay.
So they'll basically take the drawing that we approve and use that as a basis of a model to see if it will comply with their safety standards.
Okay, great. And we are planning on having it exactly 10 feet back. So that is all. That is good. And I swore that was on here, so I apologize if it's not.
Anything else?
And the entrance.
Just to add, so if that sign gets approved and it's going to, so before it gets installed, we would get police confirmation that it's good.
Perfect.
That way, we don't install it twice.
Yeah, that sounds great. And as far as, so after this meeting, if everything is good here, then we will go to the township to request that the police double check everything?
Yeah, when you've set your permit app, when all your approvals are in, you sign, contractor will fill out the permit app, and part of our approval process is, we check it against these proceedings to make sure it matches, but we'll also have police look at that.
Perfect, sounds good.
What's your timeline to being open?
We would like to be open April 25th. Yep, and we do have everybody on standby to submit permit applications and things like that within the next 2 days. So that will definitely be in, and I understand you guys have a 30-day process to get to it and everything like that. We definitely don't intend on doing anything ahead of time, of course.
Other questions about the monument sign?
No.
Comments?
Would they have to come back with the specific writing on the sign in April?
Let's go through the
Okay,
whole
we'll go
application.
for it.
And then
We'll go
yeah.
for
Okay, Colin, do you have anything to add? Okay, so just a couple things. Material-wise, what are you going to use to build that sign?
Material-wise, it is going to be white acrylic, LED lights, and the sign itself is going to be an aluminum. So the entire sign, all the different colors are going to be aluminum, and then they're going to be painted. And then each letter will be a vinyl. And the only reason that they use the vinyl is so that the backlight can properly light it up, and it's going to be the colors as they're said on here. You can see that the main, the MANE, and then the bottom of our logo there, they are a slightly tan color. We're also open to them being white if necessary, but plan on them staying there, keeping everything very neutral.
In terms of the illumination, is it just going to be the top portion illuminated?
So the 322 is going to be, it's called a push-through illumination. So, and it's called day-night. So that way during the day, it's going to be black. And then at nighttime, it will just the letters or the characters, 322, will light up from a background. It will not be a halo effect, just the characters themselves will be lit up. And that is the same for the logo portion. And then underneath where it says hair extension specialist and everything below, that would be lit from behind. Those letters would not be pushed through. And they would have a halo light effect around that black box area. And when I say a halo light, it's about like 1 inch of light just to, so you're able to see it at nighttime.
The illumination, don't we just, it's usually just the name.
Yes, right.
So the bottom portion, I mean, I have no problem with the 322 being
Yeah,
illuminated,
that should be.
I think that has to be.
but the bottom portion, where it's the extra information, I'm trying to think, if you want it visible, I guess you have to put some type of like spotlight on it, but that'd be kind of inconsistent with having the
Right.
illuminated sign.
Right.
So the spotlight would be definitely brighter than having the illuminated sign. I'm open to both, but the illumination that we would have there would be less invasive than a spotlight.
I was just saying, because you're confined to only having the name, main
Okay.
techniques illuminated, all that other information, the only way to have that, have any visibility at night then would be to have some alternative light source instead of it being from the internal illumination.
Right. Is that allowed, or is the spotlight, does that also have to be approved separately, the spotlight?
It'd be part of this whole process.
Okay.
Just taking one step back, where are we with the text?
The text at this point is just gonna be main techniques on the
Right.
top part, and then on the bottom, hair extension specialist is gonna be removed on the bottom part.
But delivering superior value, that's going to stay?
And
Removed,
that's-
right,
That's removed.
okay.
Yeah, that
So
part's removed from the
That's
top.
removed, hair extension is removed. You got your website and phone number, and,
Actually, I don't even know what that's,
yeah, what's the third line on that?
it's the ad, it's the,
Website and the way that we're searched on any platform. Just at Main Techniques.
social, yeah. I don't know how to actually phrase what that actually is.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out.
So
what
I'm
that
like
actually
social,
is.
Yelp, Google, all the things.
So main techniques,
It's not a hashtag.
and three other lines. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
Okay. And because our official, our license name is Main Techniques Hair Company LLC, would that be permitted in the same font underneath Main Techniques?
Yeah,
Because that's, okay. And if I were able to change our license name to Main Techniques Delivering Superior Value in Hair Artistry, officially change it and have proof of the license and everything, would that be able to then be there?
Right. Be a new application.
Okay.
So a couple options.
But,
Yeah.
so I think, well, let's move ahead.
yeah,
Okay?
I think that covers
Yeah.
the monument sign,
Okay.
right?
So
Okay,
there's some decisions to make about the lighting. You know about the text. You need to reduce the size,
Yes.
right? 30 square feet max, 8-foot height max, all right, on the ground sign. 10-foot back from the cartway, okay? And at night, the only thing illuminated is Main Techniques, any text, website stuff at the bottom, phone number.
Perfect. And then Main Techniques Hair Company LLC in that exact same font is allowed.
Okay.
Is that correct? Okay.
I really think, and I'll jump ahead, as we move through this application, nothing really fits in with the code. So we're going to make you come back next month.
Okay.
You're going to have to come up with, new plans, corrected plans. There's too much to,
Okay.
yeah, correct here tonight, so.
Totally understandable.
I'm sorry?
Understandable.
Okay, good. And just so you know, your plans, you're going to have to move pretty quick. Your plans are going to have to be on or before March 22nd. Our next meeting is April 12th, so.
Okay.
So you got, what, 10
So currently, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you have a short window to get everything corrected and into the township building.
No problem.
And on the April 12th agenda.
Great, thank you. So currently we have the monument sign and the 2 entryway signs. Those would be approved. Is that correct?
We haven't gotten to
Nothing's
directional
approved.
We haven't
signs.
gotten
Nothing-
into
nothing's
Oh,
approved.
okay, sorry.
Let's look at the
We're essentially,
directional
at this
signs.
point, we're going through what you have here to help you kind of workshop what you need to get it to for the next package that needs to come to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's,
What currently in here doesn't comply with the code, so we can't give it to you.
Totally understand.
I mean, the other option is for us to deny it, and then you could go try to get zoning on everything, but you're not gonna get it, probably.
Perfect.
so let's look at the 2 directional signs. These are considered directional signs, in and out, right?
Yes.
The
Entrance,
drawing's
exit.
3.
Yeah.
And
for instance, this is
4.
it.
Okay, so tell us about those.
We're skipping over 2?
Yeah, we'll go
come
back.
Okay, we'll go back.
Yeah.
So those are strictly to tell people which way is in and out.
Okay.
That was our plan with those. And they, I believe, are within all of the requirements. Oh, okay.
So for directional signs, they're both too tall and they exceed the square footage that's allowed.
And they would also, at this height, be blocking the bottom
Yeah.
part of your monument sign. So it would be better for them to be cut down.
Okay, so I think that was when measuring the
feet,
signs
4 feet
around,
away
they were shorter than most of the signs around, so I guess that's
Yeah,
where we started with that, but,
The maximum height is 3 feet,
okay,
directional signs, and the maximum square footage is 4 feet.
okay.
So these are big.
So if we just shrunk that to 3 feet and made the square footage exactly what code is, would that be okay? Everything else on the sign?
It would be okay, but you may want to consider making it even shorter, because I still think at 3 feet, it's going to block the information on the bottom part of your monument sign. You better check that.
The challenge that you have is you have, X amount of frontage that you have 3 signs that you're trying to put in there.
Right.
And from there's the code aspect of it, where if you hit that, yes, you're right. Then beyond that, there's also just the aesthetics of having those 3 signs so closely compacted because of the nature of the property. And so I think what Jane is saying is a little bit, if you actually shrink down your directional signs, you'll get better use out of your monument sign.
Yeah.
And they'll
absolutely.
still, I think, hopefully be able to provide the point of entrance and the point of exit.
Okay,
But I think the exit is the bigger one there, where you
Right,
want to make sure
right.
people aren't going in the wrong way.
thank you.
Now, I saw on one of your other submittals, you had them parallel Route 30. You want them perpendicular, like you're showing tonight, correct?
They will be, yes, perpendicular in
Okay.
order for easier view for
Okay.
traffic, yep.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think you're right.
Yeah, positively. So existing signs are going to be removed.
Correct.
These are going to be replaced.
Yes.
Okay. And again, just your trade name, entrance and exit only. No
Yep.
other information.
Okay, perfect. Yes, that was the plan.
Simple, yeah.
So 3 feet tall and the square footage will be,
I
4 feet.
would generally look at how high you want them, so they're not blocking your information on your other sign.
the other view.
I think they
Yes.
will be.
I mean, following up on that, I think from just looking at it, right? If you're looking at these signs, they're pretty signs. I like the way they
Yeah.
look. The lower black panel,
Mm-hmm.
if you almost cut that in half or made it the same height as the main almost, you get the symmetry with that, and then I think it reduces the height, it reduces the size, and then it actually might help the other sign as well. I think that it's obviously, it's up to you guys to work it however you're going to work it to bring it back to us, but
I totally appreciate that.
You can
And it
match it
is
for-
more spread out in person because we did have it all mocked out with fake signs and things, but it definitely does look much larger in the picture. But I definitely appreciate all of that. Those are great.
And again, at nighttime, only the letters should illuminate, nothing else.
Perfect. Yes, that is the plan. Great.
And, I mean, you are going to illuminate those, correct? That was the
Yes.
game plan, okay.
Yep, and it will be the same as approved on the monument sign.
Right.
For the illumination, exactly where the letters are is what will be illuminated.
what typically are your hours of operation?
8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Then yeah, you want to have the,
Yeah.
And again, when the police come out to do a check, they'll look at the whole package, the 2 signs and your ground sign,
Make sure it's good.
2 directionals
Great.
and your ground, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, let's go back then to 2.0. You're showing some wall signs.
Yes, sounds good.
How many wall signs do you have altogether? I see 3.
We do have 3 in the application. The front wall sign, we can nix. And then the 2 sides are what we would like, just because I know that's,
I hate to tell you, the 2 wall signs are, the side signs are not allowed. You're allowed the front sign, not the ones on the side. Yeah.
okay.
But the one on the front that you're proposing is not compliant.
Okay, yes. Definitely knew that. The sides, even though they're within the 15-foot, everything.
If you're a corner property,
Mm-hmm.
you would be allowed to put a sign on the side of the building, but you're not a corner property. So if you're in the main intersection of Wayne, and we use Wayne Jewelers as an example, they front West Lancaster Avenue and North Wayne, so there are light signage on each side, but you're not. You're just in the middle of a group of stores, you might say.
And as you said before, all the other properties that have all the side signs are,
Well, again,
went to
back next
zoning
to you,
or were grandfathered in.
They went to the zoning hearing board for relief, so.
Okay,
So, yeah, so forget the 2 side signs, all right?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, let's take a look at the front sign. Right, you can always
Yes.
seek relief.
All of this is subject to you,
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah,
and if you're gonna do that, please let us know, and we'll just move on, but I think we're working this
Thank
to a
you.
point where I think you won't hopefully need to get the relief.
I really appreciate that. Yes, definitely.
At least not, you might still need it on some things if you're trying to get up on the roof. But
right. So, what made you think of putting that sign on the roof?
We were thinking if the monument side and the 2 side signs failed, that we would have the roof, but truly we thought that the roof was more kind of messed with the aesthetic of the building, figuring that it is, more historical. We love the piece of architecture itself. It's awesome. So we didn't really want to put the sign on the roof, but because of the difficulty of the visibility on either side of the property, seeing the monument sign, we wanted to see, have something drawn up as an option.
Okay, well, it's too high, number one, and you're not allowed to mount signs on a rooftop. So
Right.
you got 2 strikes against you on that one, so. I noticed in, again, one of your prior applications, there was an awning.
Yes, that was, again, if all else failed, we just really felt like it was a very juvenile design. It
Okay.
didn't feel like, again, I just feel like it took away from the property itself, and it being such a beautiful part of the town of Wayne, I just felt like it kind of made it a little bit
All right.
juvenile.
It's a tough building or house, we'll call it,
Yeah,
to put a sign on the front of that. And there's not really a great spot.
I agree.
I feel for you that way. I mean, you're going to have a nice monument sign out front, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's why we took away the awning. It just, I feel like,
Yeah, so unfortunately, we can't approve the front sign either.
absolutely.
But you're going to come back next month. So if you come up with some clever ideas, you can
Bob,
always show it to
what's
us.
the language on rooftops?
They're just not allowed. Yeah, yeah, not allowed to mount a sign on a roof. Now you'll see, like Yang Ming has it, or which was Yang Ming.
there's the one on Connoisseur.
Even if the roof is below the height limit allowed?
Yeah, it says right in the code book, you're not allowed to mount a sign on a
So
roof.
maybe an option is mounting a sign on the face of the cupola?
That's what I was-
Yeah, that's
But I
too
don't know
high.
the height.
I don't know the height of it, though. You'd have to go out and
Yeah.
measure.
That was actually, that was in our prior application, lower. It looks like the arrow seemed to be
Yeah,
pointing too
between
high,
those 2
but,
windows on the flat part of the, I'll call it a cupola,
yeah.
So it can be no higher than 15.
you might be able to
Yeah.
squeeze it in there at 15 feet.
Yeah,
Right.
you might be able to.
but it's gonna be tight, because if you're looking at drawings,
Yeah,
what,
it's gonna be
2?
tight.
Looking on the side there, you have it up 15 to the bottom of those signs. Right?
Let's hope the scale's off.
No, that's, excuse me, I'm confused. We don't have the measurement at all on those. Never mind.
No, it is.
Oh, no, there
It is,
Yeah, yeah,
15 to the
it's
bottom.
Well, it has to be 15 to the top.
Got it.
All right. Well,
So, I highly doubt that.
Maybe an option.
I highly doubt that's gonna be an option, but it could be.
It could be. Okay, thank you for the clarity on that. So as of now, if the monument sign had all the alterations that you stated, that we stated earlier, and the directionals are maxed out at the, the code with the exact language, illumination, colors, everything as listed on here, and I do have colors there for you, that would be approved.
We'll take a look next month.
Directionals and the monument.
All right, we'll take a look at your plans next month. All right, before we can say yes or no.
Okay.
But again,
I think we need to know more about the directional, what it's gonna actually look like, since
yeah,
So
we're
the
talking in the abstracts on that one about the downsizing of that one.
So the black part at the bottom would just be cut off until the square footage and the height is met. That would be exactly what we would do with that. Everything else would stay the same.
so again, you may want to reconsider an awning sign. I know, like you said, it may not be the best look, but, and you can put 8-inch letters on the drop of the awning, strictly on the drop. So that's an option for you. And, like I
I
say,
mean, you could also put something right below the gutter line,
Okay,
you know, in the face,
yeah,
you know, where the porch is.
okay.
I know it looks like a handicap entrance in the center between the posts, is that it?
Yes,
So maybe to the left of that, you could have something hanging.
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the recommendations. I really appreciate that.
Should we mention the landscape?
okay, mention that, Jane.
Part of our code is landscaping, but I presume you're the tenant, not the property owner, and you might wish to talk to the property owner about the landscaping, since improving this landscaping will also improve the look of your business. And possibly he could bring in a landscape plan for this property that would make it look new and fresh and like you just arrived and, all right.
You guys, are you the owners?
We are the property owners.
Oh, you are? Okay, well
It's
then,
Main Domain LLC, right?
Yes, and
Okay,
that
so-
is both of us.
if you're the property owner, part of the code is that landscaping. So if you could bring in, doesn't have to be extensive, but some sort of like you're going to put, flowers, bushes, make it look better.
Yep, so we are planning 100% new rolled grass everywhere.
Okay.
That is the current plan, and then anything, any bushes, anything like that, we would submit separately. We wanted to get all the signs squared away first, and then work from there, but the plan is 100% grass everywhere and keep it green.
And then there was also on your application indication that you would paint the exterior trim of the building.
Yes,
What color would that be?
that would be black, and I have the chip sample right here. Tricorn black by Sherwin-Williams.
Well, you know what, when you come in next month,
Bring
why
all
don't you
that.
mock up what it's going to look like with the black trim for us,
Okay,
all right? Trim to you might be different trim to somebody else, so.
okay,
See exactly what we're getting into,
okay,
Trim.
I understand.
all right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And there's no way to have the monument and directionals approved today? Okay. Okay,
the other thing is you said you hope to be open April 25th. So if your signs are not in place, you can put a 30-day temporary banner up. It's got to be approved by the code enforcer for Radnor, so that's an option. So if you're open, you need some sort of signage, you can put a banner out front, 30 days. Okay?
we can have the banner for 30 days.
Or 30 days.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it up now, since you're not open, but,
Right.
yeah. All right,
And then we'll just get that approved through coding, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
all right. And, okay, guys, what else? Jane?
No, we mentioned the landscaping,
Yeah, okay.
mentioned the fact you can put up a temporary banner, and you can also put up, was it 20% of signs on the glass?
Yeah.
But I don't know
it's not
where
gonna
they
be an
would
issue
do
there.
that.
There will be no glass signs or anything like that.
Okay. You've got your address on the sign, so that's good, your address number. No other tent signs out front, you can't put any of that stuff, it's all against code.
Great. Definitely not planning any of that, so perfect.
Colin, you have any comments,
No
questions?
blow-up dudes floating in the air?
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
Any other questions for the board or for Andy at the township?
I do not have any. I apologize that I was pointed the wrong way for the
Okay.
coding situation about
Call it
that.
the code book.
So thank you for your patience with that. I appreciate it.
Okay. Tim, you want to make a motion for approval?
Oh, we're going,
Or
Continue it?
Yeah, continuation, I'm
Motion to
sorry.
continue?
I second.
Okay, do we want to just run down parameters so they know
Oh,
exactly what they're?
okay.
I guess we
Okay.
can recount it, but I guess at this point, we're moving to continue for a resubmission regarding the monument sign with a reduction of the cream portion of the, reduction of the width of the cream portion of the monument sign by 6 inches evenly on 3 inches on each side, and the elimination of the extraneous wording, the line delivering, et cetera, and hair extensions on the 2 portions of the sign. Removal of the illumination of the bottom portion of the illumination, of the monument sign. Reduction of the sign of the directional sign, and I think those are the only things that are going to be resubmitted because the other portions are going to be.
Landscaping and
Landscaping
and
and,
the paint. Paint job,
and the paint, excuse me.
yeah.
And if the landscaping is going to be grass, we'll just
Oh, that's
reflect that on a picture?
Okay,
Is that what needs to happen, or can we just say grass?
no, why don't you reflect it if you can,
Okay.
okay,
Yep.
all right. Any questions for Bruce?
No questions. Sounds pretty straightforward. Thank you so much for your time.
Do we hear a second for Tim's motion? Do we hear a second?
Second.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Andy, anything more to add? You're good? Okay, and you guys are good?
We are. Thank you so much for your clarity and everything. Appreciate it. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Next on the agenda is DRB 2023-13, the application of Core Clinic at 459 Sproul Road for a monument sign. Hello there.
Hello, Sarah Mann, Core Clinic.
Okay.
Goes there.
All right, you want to tell us what you have in mind?
There's an existing masonry sign that used to have the Montessori school there. That's been taken down, and we want to put this sign inside it.
Okay.
That's it.
14.75 square feet, you're allowed 15, so you just make it.
Yeah, it fits right in.
Right,
With, you know, we left some inches on the
Part of
side.
whole change to the facade and everything that was in 2 months ago or something?
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
2 months for this beautiful piece of paper here.
Lighting on that sign?
There's an existing light in the ground, and then our landscaper knocked off the top of it, but we're not open at night, and it's Sproul Road, so I don't think that people are going to be driving by, and I don't know if I want them to be, like, looking, so
Right. Okay.
if we want to replace it, we'll come back. We're, like, appointment only, so.
And looks like in the bottom photograph that we have,
Yeah,
building itself, looks like there's a sign over top of the door.
that's the old picture of the building, just to show you kind of like a reference of, like, the distance between the masonry sign and the building. But there's no sign there.
There's no sign?
No.
Okay.
The renovation's actually underway right now, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty much done. I mean,
Like,
like, there's, like, some minor, like, stuff to fix. Like, the facade has been completed. We have to put, like, the lights back on the building. We have to put the gutters back on the building, but, yeah, it's almost done. It's been a long project.
What else, guys? Colin, you good? Jane, you're good?
I'm good.
Any questions for the board?
No. Do you want a copy of this?
we have 'em.
We've got it. Yeah. Jane, you wanna make a motion?
Oh. The numbers. For DRB 2023-13 Core Clinic for a new sign in its monument, in the existing monument. I move for approval.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thanks a lot. Next on our agenda is DRB 2023-14, the application of Delmont Apartments at 421 Morris Road for landscaping and outside barbecue area.
It's upside down.
Thank you. Great,
How are you? Thank you.
Got lots of these.
there you go, right up your alley.
Did I get
This
everybody?
one's all Jane.
Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody.
There's no way I'm getting out of here soon.
Oh, there's, yeah.
I got them
He
all.
made 6 for everybody.
I got them all. Does everybody want one?
Okay,
All right, great. Nice to have you here tonight.
thank you. Nice to be here, not on Zoom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are.
So my name is David Friedman. I represent the owner of the property with my father, and we're also the operators as well. This is an apartment community located off of Morris Road. And this section right now that is photographed is adjacent to the Warren Philippone Memorial Park, right off of Clover. So we purchased the property a little over 2 years ago, and we appeared before you about almost 2 years to the day. Can't remember because I think it was on my birthday. And gone through, we'll say first phase, long process of our renovations. At this point, what we are here tonight to discuss is taking this portion of the property in the back corner, which former landlord and owner had as a defunct pool. It was enclosed with chain link that had been overgrown probably for at least a decade. So that picture is current state as of today. We removed the chain link and some of the initial overgrowth just to kind of do some exploring back there for figuring out our plans. And essentially what we'd like to do is to clear that out, make it nice and neat, and get rid of all the weeds and the overgrowth. We would put up a white vinyl fence as a visual buffer to the park along the property boundary within appropriate setbacks. And on our portion, we would be putting in pavers also within the regulations of the code so that we don't have to get into anything with stormwater management. We would put 2 grill stations in, which we would, as of now, hope to do with running a direct gas line over there, so pull a permit for those and set those stations. We would put an open-air pergola structure and some picnic tables, and of course, Jane would like lots of shrubs and landscaping and color to decorate the area and make it a nice inviting space for our residents. So we have a couple pictures. That's the existing. So just as a concept, when we talk about grill stations, this would be a visual representation of what we would plan to put in as of now based on the number of apartments that are on the property. We're proposing to put 2 of these on the site. This is a representation from the website of the pavers that we would propose to use. Color might differ a little bit, but it would be substantially similar to this. As far as the pergola is concerned, there are a lot of different options. Part of what we're weighing, of course, 1 is cost, 2 is still in this environment, a reasonable material availability. So generally speaking, again, also a concept, but it would be like an AZEK or a PVC, white vinyl that would kind of go and match with the close to the fencing that we have there.
Not till you're lighting under that pergola,
Say again?
illumination, lighting.
No, we are not planning any illumination or lighting for the area.
Okay, good.
Is it David or Daniel?
David?
David, for point of reference, is this property line I'm seeing, is this between the park and your property?
Yes, but all of this work would be done within our boundary, of course.
No, I get that, but this specific location on the site plan, is it this bottom portion right here?
That is correct. Yeah. So this is what I gave to you this evening. Since we made this application and submitted back in February, we've made a little bit of progress with the landscape design. It's still conceptual, as we go in and do pre-construction meetings and apply for the permits and see the job conditions. There might be some slight variation. Generally speaking, this area here that you see would be, or is the park. So this is around where we would put the fence, again, complying with zoning ordinance and laws for setbacks. And as far as plant material, we gave you a proposed palette of some things that we would put in the area. So I'll just flip through the pages a little bit for anybody who's looking online and has any interest for what we would put in there.
How do you feel about
Oh, about
the plant selection?
it's good. I think that the skip laurels, which is Prunus floriensis, will be okay because there's a fence behind them. But I think if you drive around Wayne right now, you'll see that they suffered a lot of winter burn. They're the large shrubs that you see with a lot of brown leaves on them. They usually look like hedges. There's some on West Avenue and whatever, but it doesn't mean yours will winter burn if there's,
Well,
if they're
no.
shaded on the west, which I think your fence will do.
We have skip, we've been in business for nearly 50
They're a good
years.
plant. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, and what you're
Sometimes
describing,
they suffer winter burn.
yeah, from time to time, we do get that on some of those plants when we do have them.
And the roses will be, your landscape maintenance people love those because they grab and hold trash, but they're very pretty. And if you can't get the Cloud 9, the Corners, Florida, crepe myrtles, the upright tree forms that have Indian names like Natchez and Tuscarora.
Another one we
Bloom in
were
the summer.
considering would be we have on the front of this property Okami cherries, which kind of pulled in the
Bloom.
design that you did with the, on Morris Road in that project.
I just drive down that road a lot, and they look great, and they continue the planting that was put in on Morris Road. They look fit. They're coming into bloom right now.
It's a little early, but it looks good.
No, people plant them because you get almost a 3-week bloom time with the bud and then the bloom and then the calyx. But you may want to take the tree guards, the tree stakes off them. They don't need them anymore, the ones on Mars.
We'll make a note, our landscaper hasn't come yet for the season.
Yeah, otherwise it grabs it.
So on all, you're happy with?
Oh, they're good. They're
Okay,
good.
good.
They're good.
Good.
It's their property.
You guys all right with that?
I like the design, I do, I like the idea
Yeah.
of it. My questions come down to more of maintenance and, I mean, the long-term wear and tear of grills and multiple people using it, who's gonna clean it, things like that, how's it gonna look after a season, how's it gonna look after 5 seasons of people using this, and I know, I mean, it would require a lot on you as the property owner to encumber, to actually take on that maintenance responsibility. I mean, people with grills, shared grills are sometimes disgusting. Like, people don't clean them properly, they don't burn things off, they leave the grease just sit there at night, especially if you're doing a gas grill. So there's that component of it. Really, I think there's one component of it that's it's kind of like an outside dining, where I know in the past where we have been confronted with that and people wanting to put shrubbery around outside dining, and there being issues with rodents who like the outside dining and the vegetation. And so I don't know if there's a concern on that. That speaks more towards what Andy would be commenting on possibly on this, but.
The only comment I can add is a very similar project was done right around the corner from the Township building when they redid 313 Creek Road, and that's probably almost 2 years old now. It's actually been a very positive enhancement to that complex, and they maintain it very well. And all I can say is based on the experiences of the renovation of the several properties that David and his father have bought, I would expect good maintenance from this company.
No, and I've seen what you've done so far, and I've been very pleased with it. But those are my comments. Otherwise, I think it's a really nice design and a really nice feature to have at the property.
I agree. I think it's a great feature. I was more of the same, was just safety concerns, being next to a park and, having access to, a grill that's constantly hooked up to a gas line. I guess that might be a concern as well, but I don't know how you expect to maintain that, so.
Sometimes there are timers that you can put on the gas line that would not allow it to operate after a certain hour. They can work a little longer.
Maybe that's something you work with Andy too on, keeping it, it's a very active park, as we know, so.
I believe at the other project, similar project, they have a coded access to the valve.
Got it.
Oh, that's smart.
So there is ways that we could look at
Sure.
to, you know,
Other than that, I think
Address
it's a
that
great
question.
beautification project. Looks
Yeah.
great.
Looks great.
Is there currently a fence between your property and the park?
There was, as part of the original chain link that
Yeah.
kept in the design of the pool, but we ripped that all out just to kind of clear the area a little bit and see what we're working with. So that chain link has been removed.
Will you be putting a gate somewhere for your tenants to get into the park from there? Or-
No, so the only fence that we would put would be on the boundary with the park. Otherwise, I can go back and show you a photo.
Like, if I'm looking here on the drawing, it looks like the fence line goes from not all the way to the end of the grass part towards the parking lot to just a little bit past the building, is that right?
Say that again, please.
It's essentially, this is showing it, the boundary line is the one line, and then the shorter line right next to it is the fence line, right?
Correct.
And so it's gonna be kind of past the building is where the fence is gonna end, and then not all the way to the parking lot.
Close to it.
Maybe we make a recommendation to take the fence all the way to Cedar Brook's curb line, or the right of way, if you will. You know, instead of that break.
So, I'll come over to you.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if it's drafted, you know, incomplete, or maybe this fence just continues all the way to Cedar Brook.
Yes, the intention was to keep it here, but we could,
Yeah, just to keep the, you know, people on the property. You know, inviting people in.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern. Yeah, how do you keep kids after a Little League game from hanging out there or?
I mean, you can't, to be
Yeah,
perfectly honest.
exactly.
And, you know, if you're a kid, you're going to find a way.
Right, exactly.
And it's a
They're
nice
smarter than
opportunity
us.
For your tenants to have that, so.
Yeah.
I
So I
don't
think-
have an answer, those are comments.
So I think,
There's any reason for a rejection.
right, I
No.
think what we're here is to look at the design,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the plants.
I think it looks good.
Right, yeah, it's going to be a lot of in-house,
Oh, yeah.
Radnor Township in-house work to approve that also. But I think aesthetically, it looks good, and
Yep.
it'll clean that corner up. It
Yeah.
is pretty ratty back there.
Yeah, they already started to clean it up, which is good.
Yeah.
They've already removed all the,
No hot
Scrap.
dog sales out of there during games or anything?
No.
No, okay, all right. Little business on the side, yeah. Okay,
Not sanctioned, we'll say
Yeah,
that,
not
if it happens.
yeah,
Be an industrious child who does that.
yeah. So David, any other questions for the board or for Andy at this point?
No, but I also did want to mention, because I didn't put it, but it is on the drawing, there would be a fenced-in dog run, because it is a pet-friendly place. We would have it where that would be a chain link with a coating, a plastic coating on it, black, I think about 4 feet high is what we typically do. And it would have kind of like an entry area so that, you know, if you just open the first door, dogs don't run out, you have a little bit of yes, great word for it, a vestibule of sorts. So we would have that in there for pets.
Do we need to see that? No. So, just as long as it's in the plan.
We would apply for a fence permit. Anything in here that requires a permit, you know, gas or plumbing, fencing.
Okay. All right, what
I'm
else,
good.
guys? Everybody's happy? You're happy? David, you're happy then? You're good?
Great.
Okay. Colin, you want to take this one? Sure.
Matter of DRB 2023-14 Delmont Apartments, seeking approval for pergola landscaping, fencing, and barbecue area, including a fenced dog run. Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, David.
All right, thank you, everybody.
You've done
Good
great
evening.
work in the town.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Looks very
Thanks. Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next tonight is DRB 2023-15, the application of Tompkins Bank at 163 East Lancaster Avenue for window signage. Hello there.
Hello.
this basic application was in last month.
Yes, yes. So
Talking
I'm
about
Wendy
wall
with.
signage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm Wendy with Bartush Signs, and again, you approved the signage last week, or last month, for on the walls, and had mentioned about they would be allowed to do some window vinyl. So in talking with the bank, they did decide to do one small decal on each side of the windows, one facing each street, again, just to kind of put their tagline on there.
Okay, good. So did you do some calculations?
I do, if you need them.
For square footage?
Yes.
Yes, 20% of the window.
Okay.
So if you take the total size, I did calculate, they're allowed 6 square feet, and they're at 4.9, I think. It's very close, but it is under the 6 square feet, the 20% that would be
I
allowed
think you're
per.
actually 15% there. Aren't you?
Yeah, just a little shy of 20.
No,
Yeah.
but the actual, what is this zone?
They're 20 in that
I was
location.
going to say, I was told 20, but unless I'm wrong.
Anyway, you're fine.
I calculated it off of 20%, so.
Okay. How'd the bank take the wall sign? Just
They
on
were
the
okay,
comments?
yeah.
I like it.
It is what it is. Yes, I was going to say, I put them on there just so you could see that they did keep the length. They just shortened up,
Right.
just took the name.
No, looks
But
good.
they did keep the panel length, the
Okay.
full width, to make it fit underneath the light fixtures.
Window above the door below the clock. Is that a transom?
There is.
The ATM.
There was a current sign there from the previous bank that says ATM. They are going to have I was going to say, they are going to have an ATM inside there, so they didn't tell me if they were removing it or not. Let me see if I have a better picture of it.
I was only gonna suggest maybe you put the wall decal in there. Not love it, on one side, not the other, kind of ADD like that.
For,
The front wall decal, but again, I don't care. Just a suggestion.
so instead of having it on the window, put it above the door. Oh, okay. Another pet peeve. Okay, gotcha.
Is the
I think
address
this looks
on,
great.
is the
Yeah.
address on the building?
Yeah,
Okay, the address is there? Okay.
Tim spotted it right above it.
Oh, I can always see it.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. No, I think it's a nice, clean application. I think it'll look good.
I do
It's
too.
right downtown, so we want a nice, neat look, so. Vicki, just, yeah, be 100% sure that we're not seeing, the address number needs to be on the building. We believe it's right on top of the door, but if you can just double check that.
No, actually on the actual woodwork.
I think it's on the wood.
I was going to say that I'm looking for the pictures I have of the property.
Fuzzy clock, you have to look. This is very, there's a dark spot above the,
We're taking that to be the
I think
address.
this looks fine.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
double check that if you would, please.
Yeah, I do have a picture here that shows, it is a number right above the door.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
That's good.
All right, great. Anything else for us tonight?
Nope, that's all.
All set? How about the board? Everybody's good?
That's good.
I'm good.
Okay. Tim, want to take
Sure.
this one?
In the matter of DRB 2023-15, I move to approve the application.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming back.
Yep, have a good night.
Next is DRB 2023-16, the application of Blue Moon Facial and Massage at 362 West Lancaster Avenue for window signage.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Your word.
Brian, how you doing, buddy? Good, good, good. I'll let you know.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning, yeah, I'm good with that.
You know where this is, right? Jane, you know where this is, right? You know where this is? Next to Primo.
Oh, perfect, that's what was needed.
Location for that, don't you think?
Lovely color.
Yeah.
We can even.
It's fine with me. Yeah. Yeah.
Good evening.
Hi, Brian.
I'm representing Blue Moon, and this is in the location where the old wheelhouse was.
Might as well tell everybody who you are.
Yes,
I think we all know you, but you can tell the audience who you are.
Brian Unoviak from Sign Studios.
Great. Good to have you here, Brian.
Thank you. They just want to have window letterings. It's just an odd building. It's right next to Primo's, and you really can't put anything because there's a roof. So the only thing they can really do is do window lettering. The window lettering that we proposed, and I checked these calculations from one of my employees who did it, and we're exactly below the 20% area of where the vinyl is going to be. It's a 3M vinyl, cast vinyl. Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. Hey,
All I
Brian.
needed was the numbers. I didn't have them, and now I have them, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm hard of hearing, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. All I needed in the initial application was the numbers, and now that we have them, I have no issues with this.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Brian, just a quick question. Getting back, there's been a lot of businesses in town painting the front of the building. You think these guys have any ideas about painting the building or not?
I would hope so. I mean, I'll recommend it to them.
Well, if you have them come in to get a permit.
Right.
before they paint.
Right.
You know, it's kind of a,
Now, I have a question. If they just paint it the same color that it is
oh, if they're going to
currently.
finish it up, we're okay. But if they're going to change the color, they're going to have to come
Okay,
in.
yeah.
I don't know if that's the proper color for a facial and massage type store. This was basically a baseball card shop before.
Right,
Yeah, so it may not
Right.
be the colors that they want for that type of business, but
Right.
yeah, before they paint, they'll have to come in. And get
I'll-
a
I will-
permit, so
I'll make that
mention
clear.
To them,
yeah, definitely.
okay? So, okay, what else, guys? Say it's pretty,
I'm fine.
pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
All right, Colin, you're good with it? Yes, sir. Okay, Jane, you want to take it?
Oh, okay. For DRB 2023-16, Blue Moon Facial Massage at 362 West Lancaster Avenue for window signs, I move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Brian. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is DRB 2023-17, the application of Puff Gallery at 623 West Lancaster Avenue for a wall sign.
Good evening.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, how are you? I am Dave from Image 360 in Bryn Mawr. I'm representing the Puff Gallery, which is a vape shop, I guess, that's going to go in the former Edible Arrangements at 623 West Lancaster. We are proposing a 15-inch by 148-inch channel letter set to read the name of the business, white letters, black returns, and a raceway to match the color of the bricks, which is similar to what Edible Arrangements had before they shut down. That's it.
You guys remember when that came in, like, just maybe 4 or 5 years ago? No?
Remember these?
Yeah. Yeah, they came in, yeah.
I don't, that was before me, I think.
Really? Okay. Maybe it was longer.
I was there a while.
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Um,
So it's,
Used to be like a martial arts studio before that.
I remember it back then, but
okay. So here's what we have. What do you guys think?
I have no issue with it.
Yeah. Dave, the one thing that I would mention is they've got an old awning pole underneath there.
Yeah,
don't think
they
it's
got to
gonna
take
be-
that off.
It's got to
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
That's on them. Yeah, it's that, you can see it in the picture, it's that metal bar.
Right.
Looks horrible.
Yeah, we need to clean that corner up a little bit. There's also, and it's out of your photo, to the right of Puff Gallery, there's a vinyl banner. One of the, maybe it was the edible arrangements, they received like Best of Mainline Award.
I think that was gone when I took my picture.
I looked at it today, it's still.
Oh, it's still there?
It's almost faded out to white,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, really? Maybe I just wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
That's got to go too.
Okay.
So do we know what your client is selling?
Yeah, vape stuff.
So accessories,
Yeah.
parts and pieces, not like marijuana product?
No, no, it's not a dispensary, right? Don't you have to have a
I'm
separate?
asking, I don't know.
It's not a dispensary, no. It's-
And then Andy, this usage is allowed at this location?
I checked with, so far, the zoning has come back, it's essentially retail.
Uh-huh.
And the products that they're selling are, there's no prohibited products being
It's
sold.
tobacco,
Got it.
or whatever vape is, that's not marijuana.
Isn't there an age for tobacco sales?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
You can't sell tobacco products to people under the age of 21, I believe.
18.
18, what's that, 20, 18? Why are they selling tobacco? Okay.
There's been quite a few of these smoke shops popping up all over the place, so.
I think there's one like 2 doors down. A dispensary is literally
Okay.
like 2 doors down from this location in TE.
Right, right. Dave, have
Is
they
everyone
discussed any other changes to the facade of the building, painting
No.
or anything like that?
No, and I don't think they're going to.
Okay. Do you want to tell them if they're going to paint anything, they need to come back?
I don't think they're gonna paint anything, because the landlord, like, it's consistent with all the other properties
Okay.
along that strip, so
Okay.
I have a feeling they're not doing anything other than,
If they put any kind of signage in the window, it's got to come back?
Mhm.
All right? Otherwise, we're going to have to take it down?
yep,
No A-frame signs, all that stuff, if you want to relay all that information to them,
yep.
they're going to be under close scrutiny. so-
Yes,
All right?
they should know that, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we'll make sure that address number is on the front door.
It's on the, you can kind of see it in the picture, it's already there. They have a 623 left over from the karate studio.
Yes,
Just so you know, we haven't done the new business occupancy inspection, so we'll give them a summary of, about the window signs,
Great.
about the A-frame signs.
Super.
So they'll have some information given from our office so that they at least
Terrific.
will have been informed, not what to, what they shouldn't be doing.
okay, great, thanks, Andy.
Andy, do you know where the parking is for this location?
The parking is in the front on the Lancaster side, and because there's no change in use, the parking did not come under review.
There's like 2 spots right, there's like 2 spots right in front, that's where I
Well,
took my
there's a-
picture.
Well, it starts where the
Cornerstone.
Corner Bakery,
Cornerstone now.
or Corner Bakery.
Corner Bakery, yeah.
Corner Bakery, there's a Taylor,
Call it Coos' Corner.
yeah, the Corunda Mortgage. Yeah, there's spots, there, what, 7 spots maybe?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right along the front.
Tough spot to get out of,
Yeah, very tough spot.
yeah.
I guess we can only hope that they don't do well at this.
We don't want to say that. Okay.
We can.
Dave, anything else for us?
No,
Okay, you're going to mention about the awning?
yeah.
There is an awning on the
Door, too, right?
west side.
Yeah, they're all beat up, they're all like in disrepair.
Yeah, if they want to get rid of that too,
Yeah.
like you say, clean the building up and,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that they use that one, but there is actual an awning on Old Eagle School Road on that side of the building, so,
Oh, okay.
all right. Okay. All right, and how about the height? I mean, we approved the edible business, and it's basically in the
It's
same
like
location.
10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, okay, 15's your
We
max.
just had the corner bakery come back and do something on that same wall. Just up the hill a little ways.
Right. Just make sure it's 15 or under.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely, yeah.
No higher, so. Okay. All right, what else, guys? Pretty cut and dry.
Yep.
Dave, any questions for the board? No?
Try to
And,
make it easy, right?
Anything else to add, Andy?
Nothing to add, other than just the side comment that Corner Bakery won't be coming back for anything. They're out.
Okay,
They're out of
Okay.
business.
okay,
They never opened, but they're withdrawing all their applications.
all right, okay.
Okay.
Sure. Just that, yeah.
Right.
nothing else.
Okay,
But,
great.
but if they decide to put signs in the windows, you'll have to come back.
Yeah, painting, signs,
Yeah.
all that's good.
I mentioned that to him. He said, I'm not interested in anything in the windows.
Okay, all right,
You might want to keep an eye out.
we will,
Right.
yeah,
It won't be from me, but they might put,
Okay.
like, you know, decorate their windows.
gotcha. All right, Colin, you want to take this one?
In the matter of DRB 2023-17 Puff Gallery, motion for approval for one wall-mounted sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you,
Have a
Dave.
great evening.
Okay, see ya. Okay, and last on our agenda tonight is DRB 2023-18, the application of CBD Creighton at 218 East Lancaster Avenue for painting of the facade of the building, which was formerly the Starbucks in Wayne.
And formerly a tile shop.
Good evening.
Hello there, how you doing?
I'm Pat Campbell, and this is Pam Jones. We represent 218 Wayne LLC, which is the tenant of the old Starbucks building on 218 Lancaster Avenue. And we're here to apply for a permit to change the color of the facade to black. It unfortunately already is black, as many of you know. And that was a mistake on our part, and we apologize for it. And we're now seeking permission. And we're going to eliminate the green as well. There's some green trim that we're going to take off, and it'll be a solid black facade.
I kind of like the green trim. I don't know if you guys have driven by and seen it. This breaks it up a little bit, but have you driven by, Jane? Did you
Oh, I
actually
drive
visually
by,
see
I
it?
stopped to look at the landscaping.
Okay.
Is the beer yard in the back the same property?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Same parcel.
Is it? Have two businesses on the same property? I guess so.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys know the history of this building?
Yeah, it was a tile place, wasn't
It
it?
was actually, I think first, or as far back as I remember, it was Avelino Tires.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was a tile place,
Yeah, the tile place, I remember the tile place.
Starbucks, and of course,
Yeah, I remember the tile.
and I don't know, maybe I'm missing one or two in there, but yeah.
You are dating your Radnor history.
I grew up here.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah. Did I miss something? I don't know. They're the four businesses I remember.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It goes back to Avelino Tire, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So what do you guys feel?
Well, it's already painted.
Like it, don't like it?
Well, they painted it without permit.
I'm sorry? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. We'll finish our conversation here.
Okay.
Yeah. Colin? Any comment?
Seek a more neutral color. I mean, the black is going for us, and for me personally, in this section of Wayne, it's not fitting.
Well, so the black is the company's logo. It's black and green. And that's why it was chosen. Those are our store colors. Those are company logo colors. I have pictures of how we use the black and green in other locations, if that would be helpful.
So, so
Yeah.
if it's black and green, why do you want to get rid of the green trim on the building and make it all black?
If you actually put them on the monitor, the table there, then they actually go up on the screens, and people at home can see it, and it gets recorded.
So that shows you the logos.
I'm sorry, can you just use a mic too, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's a banner. What store is that, Pam?
That's our Winfield location.
And that shows you the use of the black and green in the banner. And then here is a company van. Where's that out in front of?
That's just our marketing van that's
Okay.
used to travel around
when we have openings and things like that.
But that building's not painted black.
Well, it's a brick building, but it's obviously not painted black. This was a gray stucco building prior to,
I know what color it was.
and the
Still, you
building,
painted it without a permit.
and we apologize for that.
If I could just, give some history here. So there was two essentially zoning violations that had to be corrected, and corrected in front of this board. So one was the exterior paint color, and the other was the signage, because there was signage put up without permits as well, and without appearing before this board. In the dialogue that I've had with the applicant, the signage has all been removed.
Yes.
So
signage.
they wanted to rectify that violation by removing all of the signage. There is some areas that still have plastic up, so I can't see if there's signage underneath that. But if there is, that you would be then back in violation, we'd have to have that removed.
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
So we would just have to check that. But as far as what had to be handled in front of the board is this item alone.
Oh, yeah. But do they get fined for painting buildings without permits?
So I believe Kevin Kachansky was handling this, and Kevin is out. He's on deployment right now with his Air Force Reserve Unit. So that legal process, I'm not fully knowledgeable of, other than it would be handled, if there was anything, it would be handled. They are in the process of trying to move forward to get their permits, and one of the conditions of getting the permits to open the facility is that they have to take care of their violations. So we have applications for permits in that will be issued, but there will be no issue of an occupancy permit until the violations are corrected. By removing the signage, that took care of that violation. This has to go in front of the board for approval. So when this is, resolved, we would then go through the inspection process. We have, met with the general contractor. We have a process that they're going to have to go through, a series of inspections, and when those are taken care of, if everything else is taken care of, then occupancy permit would be issued.
Yeah, and again,
Will
we,
this board be,
Might help public comment, but is this
Would you be
business,
able-
is this business moving forward in the township?
yes.
But we're moving forward, and they're approved, they're going to be a retail establishment in the township, no matter what at this point. Yeah, okay,
As
so-
long as they pass their inspections.
As long as they pass their building inspections.
Correct.
Their use and occupancy is allowed in this township.
Correct.
Okay, so I have no issue with this application then.
well, I do, because I
I'm
want to
just saying my
know
position.
from the township if they're going to be fined before we approve this color, for putting the color on the building without approval.
I cannot answer that
I
question.
know you can't,
believe-
but, would someone be able to tell this board at some time, at some point?
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, I can tell you, we have not been fined. We received a
Well, I know
violation, and we're here to try to correct that. We were told in the violation notice to correct the violation, and that's why we're here.
You got the notice of violation, and then that's what triggered you to start responding.
Yes. Again, we apologize for the way it opened. It was not by design. It was a misunderstanding on our part. And we're trying now to correct the violations.
And I'm trying to go back in my brain, and it's not coming to me, but I see the color here as to the original building facade, but that doesn't ring as what I remember it looking like. Is that what it was?
It was a
before it got moved?
Starbucks
It was like
before.
that creamish color?
Sorry, it was a Starbucks before we went into it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember spending a lot of money with that Starbucks. But I just don't remember the color, but it was tan?
So, okay. Just hold tight. So this is a recent photo?
Yes,
This is recent, okay.
Yes.
And this is, with the blanked out windows, is your work on that building?
I believe so.
Okay.
I
It's not an old photograph.
excuse me.
So the building was painted after you were told to take the signs down or cover them up?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I believe, see, I don't
No,
Yeah.
that painting, that photo is a rendering of what it would look like. Because right now, there is green, there is green trim on it.
I'm referring to the beige photo.
The Starbucks
So
color.
you put the construction paper in the windows.
We did not.
Oh, that was just there, okay.
Yeah, the construction paper was in the windows when we took over the property. It must, either Starbucks put it up or the landlord put it up.
Okay. So,
The painting occurred approximately a year ago.
Yes.
No, I know, yeah.
And,
I know.
so the establishment has not opened and has been closed essentially for a year.
Right, it opened for a day on February 10th, and due to the violations, we closed immediately.
Can I just get some clarification, because...
I'm sorry, can I?
Can I?
No, it's just going to be one question for clarification, and then we're going to go back to our
This
discussion.
is Mary Beth Doyle, I'm a resident, and I'd like to give some clarification because
Sorry, into the mic, please.
I've been involved in this and watching this from the beginning. The reason that my understanding from township people who I've been involved with, who have been watching this and involved in this from the beginning, the reason the windows were covered up with that paper was because they came in without the proper permits, as Mr. Campbell had represented, but they were told to cover them up because they were in violation. So those marijuana signs and everything were on their buildings when our kids were walking by while they were in the building without getting the proper permits.
Okay, thank you.
So I think Ms. Doyle is confused because she doesn't have the picture, but the picture that Ms. Golis asked about is from the Starbucks.
Right.
And when the windows were covered, they were covered either by Starbucks or the former landlord. They were that way when we moved in.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. And then when you covered them all the way to the top.
Yes.
Right, after you're in violation, after you opened.
I'm sorry?
When you're in violation and the day you opened up and you were told you couldn't open up, you papered the windows, but you papered them all the way to the top.
That's right. That's right.
So those marijuana leaves went right to the
Yeah,
top. Yeah.
They're not covered all the way now.
Covered all the way.
Well, I think a lot of it's, you're covered all the way.
It is now.
Okay, all right, great. So I'm going to go back to a question I asked. If your colors are black and green, how come you're going to paint that green trim black?
That's a good question.
I think we just want to make sure we do the right thing for the township and just making sure, we're following all the processes here. Black is a part of our logo. We would love to keep the green, but if it just needs to be one solid color, we're okay with that too.
I don't know if you guys saw it. I think the green just breaks it up a little bit. I think otherwise it's going to look like a black blob down there with a lot of glass. I think just the green, it's just like a little racing stripe, little accent on the building.
I'll be honest, it's hard for me to picture what the building's gonna look like as long as the windows are still blocked up and you don't
Yeah.
get the full picture of what it's actually gonna look like.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that's true.
difficult to actually
Right,
conceptualize what the final product is gonna be.
yeah. Until we know what your sign package is and how everything's going to look and how you're going to kind of.
the application sealing off the windows with like an opaque screening or something, like we see in the rendering?
Are you saying like blackened out windows or?
They're like filmed over or smoky.
So they're not smoky. We do put like a guard on the windows so they can't be broken. That might be what you're seeing, but they are clear glass. So we do put a protection on them. We do that in all of our locations.
So you put a film over the glass, just so.
They can't be.
They can't be broken
thrown
into.
through it or
Okay.
broken into, things like
So
that.
everybody can have reference of the picture that we've been talking, the two pictures that we've really just been talking about here.
I'm sorry.
It'll zoom back out in a second. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
That might be shadowing or just the darkness inside, the shadowing or a darkness inside the store, but the windows are not dark.
At this point in time, do you have any kind of idea what you want to do for signage?
We're still working on that,
Okay.
for sure.
Naturally, you'll have to come back with permits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And also-
we don't
and
have
also-
any,
Also for landscaping.
absolutely.
Okay.
Just a question, is the lower picture current, or is that sort of, for lack of better description, CGI'd or doctored?
Yeah, this is just what our idea was, if we needed to have it one solid
Okay, 'cause
color.
so that's not an actual photo?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you have yellow plastic over certain
Yeah.
And just while we're on the subject, that's a concern of mine, is like what's behind the yellow plastic. So the fact that we're here for the color is what we're here to talk about. But the reason that we're here is because we've removed signage from the discussion. So again, if there's any signage under that yellow plastic, I know Jen is no longer working. My communications were with Jen, and that all signage was to be removed. And that was the agreement.
It has been.
Okay.
Okay, and so I will represent that we do not intend to have window signs unless and until we get
Well,
approval.
any signage.
Any signage. But
So-
you were asking about the windows, I think.
So where the yellow plastic is now, so over the front door, there's the plastic, and in my discussions was, any plastic over the signage is a temporary measure and is not a permanent resolution to the violation. So therefore, any signage had to be removed to have that removed from the list of things that were in violation. So again, if we see that there's signage behind the yellow, it'll have to either come off immediately, or we will not proceed with certificate of occupancy.
Sure. And I'll follow up on that to be 100% sure that we are following your direction. And when you say signage, does that mean anything on the windows, around the building?
Anything related to store name,
Okay.
any kind of advertising, any kind of graphics. At this point, the only thing that would be on that building would be 218, would be the building address.
So, Andy, I can tell you that I walked the building with Jen, not with her, but with her on the phone, and sent her pictures of whatever else was left up that needed to come down. So it's my understanding that everything is down. If that hasn't been done before she left, we will make sure that it is.
That's fine. Again,
Okay.
if you don't understand my questioning, is because there's still covering, and I just don't know what's behind it.
Yeah, and I'll check up on the coverings. I'll pull them down and make sure that there's none of our logos behind it. I will ensure that.
And again, anything that you would want to put up will have to come in front of this board.
Yeah,
Understood.
I think we understand fully on that one. Thank you.
So it brings us back to the question in hand, and why they're here tonight. The black building.
Black building.
Why not? Public comment?
So what's the name of the business? Yeah, Keith DiMarino, Radnor resident, Oak Terrace. And then Mary Beth.
Mary Beth Doyle, Meadowbrook Circle.
Okay.
So what's the name of the business?
On our application, it's 218 Wayne, LLC, DBA CBD Creighton. That's
Okay.
on the applicant, on our application here.
Right. So
Okay.
they have a DBA.
I'm sorry, just
Sorry.
make sure.
Yeah, so they have a DBA, and they're intending to open a store with no name or branding on the store at all, correct?
I'm sorry?
You're going to open a store with no name or brand on the store.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to use a mic, okay?
Maybe I can. So we will not open the store with branding unless the branding is approved. I can tell you that.
That wasn't the question. So the question is, are you going to open a store with no name or brand?
So is he questioning me?
I'm just.
I thought this was public comment.
You're the applicant, and I have questions about your application, and I think you should answer.
You're-
Okay,
you're a
so
excuse me, sir, you're a citizen of Radnor Township, correct?
I live in Oak Terrace, about 4 houses down.
So Andy can answer the question.
It's public comment. You may answer the question. You may also, I believe, choose to not answer the question. It's public comment.
I just don't want to get in a debate or an argument. So
Right. No, we don't want you to either. So.
all we're doing here is getting approval to correct the violation for
Right.
the color of the facade, okay? When Ms. Jones was asked earlier about signage, she said that that's still under consideration, and we understand that whatever signage that we need to put up or want to put up, we have to come here for approval, and we fully intend to do that. Right now, we're only here for the facade.
Right, yeah, that's on tonight's agenda, paint the
Okay.
building. That's it, nothing more.
I got it. All right. So then we understand we have a high-class sign here that says CBD Kratom in plastic. That's not a black, this is a brick building with a sign on top. Well, I mean, that's your signage. It's not a real sign. It's a piece of plastic. So we go over here and we look at a black building. There's not a single black building in Wayne. There's not. And you're going to do this to Wayne. That is like an alien spaceship. Like, it doesn't fit into the culture of the town. I mean, you got a church across the street. You've got, I mean, this is like an underground, I don't know. This is not representative of our town. And I don't see how black should be approved. And not to mention, that's grayed out glass there, right?
I appreciate your comment.
Thank you.
And one other thing, I know we're just talking about the color, which I totally agree with Keith as well. We are a town based on, historic facades, and I've done some work on different houses, and it has been very difficult to get approval to keep in line with the historic look of Wayne, which is part of the reason why a lot of people move here and home prices are high. I also have a question just about the name. If it's CBD Kratom, Kratom as a product is not allowed in that store based on the ordinance. So just something, if they're going to come back with signage, something that they might want to think about.
We have no idea at this point, so thank you. Thanks.
One more question, sorry. The facade, is the sign considered, like this sign considered facade, or is that?
That's a remnant still from the Starbucks.
Right, but I mean, like.
Obviously something that needs to be taken down or adjusted, or they would put a sign into that circular area.
Right, so are they getting permission to put black here as well? Like, I just want to be
No
clear.
permission on signage at this point.
So, okay, so if it's not part of the building, it's not part of
Signage
the.
tonight, yeah.
Okay, got it, thank you. So, one more comment. So as the resident, I also agree that, I'd ask you to consider the rest of the town and all those other folks that put a lot of money into their building and painting it and making this town look really nice. This is kind of the opposite, and I don't feel like that's a great reflection of our town. So if you could
Thank you.
consider that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys want to add anything else?
Yes, thank you. I would only add that I understand the character of Wayne. This particular store is not located in one of what I would consider as someone who grew up in Radnor Township as the historic district of Wayne. It's sort of in the area where there's gas stations, car washes, and box drugstores. So I understand their concern. I think this is an upgrade from the beige that Starbucks was. I think that it looks good. I don't think anyone's going to be offended by the color, but that's obviously your job, not mine.
Well, I mean, you referenced the box drugstore, but if you think about what the Rite Aid did in that corner, they did a very nice job of tying that into the look of the other parts of Wayne. I mean, we're talking about a building here that, I mean, it certainly predates my time in Wayne, and as we talked about the history of this building, it's been there for a long time. But it's always been kind of an outlier of a building, and from my point of view, as to the building itself, because of its more of a modern design of a building being circular. That's pretty much it. It's a circle building. So it has some uniqueness to that. But if you're talking about how it sits right there, even if you're looking at this picture right here, you have it right next to a brick building, and on the other side, you have a brick row of stores.
You have the beer yard in the back, which I know a lot of you have seen that, and then a building immediately adjacent going, I guess, east on Lancaster Avenue is an auto body shop, and there's another auto body shop over there, So I think that's what I was referring to. I know that further up west, it gets the charming effect kicks in. I understand that.
I would beg to differ that the charming effect of it actually doesn't just begin further west.
The auto body shop's in a brick building.
It is.
I'm sorry, what's that?
The auto body shop is in a brick building.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a circular stucco building, and we're just, open is going to be better than shut. And
So, just as a general, kind of how I look at this, so we're in a period, a portion of the authority of this board is discretionary. When it comes to the aesthetics of the community, we are charged with trying to tie in the aesthetics to make a uniform, but it's not really charged to do that, but it's within our discretion to consider that in what we're looking at. So one of the things that I try to do in my own personal kind of how I look at things is when you're talking about a business with branded colors and schemes like that, I try to keep that in account. But here, you really are, I mean, the one thing that was said during public comment that rings true more than I think of anything else is there are no other black buildings in Wayne. I mean, this is a giant black building. And yes, it's recessed off of of Lancaster Ave, so it's down the hill a little bit, so it's not necessarily sitting right there. And I mean, Bob, you were mentioning it earlier, you know, it just becomes a big black, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, what I'm struggling with on this application myself is I don't see the end result. I don't know how the whole package is going to look, and it's hard for me to say one way or the other with the facade when I don't know what the end result's going to be. When you're trying to change to an aggressive facade. Now, if you were to come in here and say, oh, we're going to change from a gray stucco to a beige stucco, I mean, that's one thing. But, I mean, I think about even when Penn Medicine was coming in, they were trying to bring in brown bricks, and those were not consistent with the look of that area. It didn't match with the new Penn facade that they were using brown bricks, and I took issue with that. Did they go black bricks?
And if you remember the annex to the Wayne Post Office,
Yeah.
They married it in.
they wanted to paint the brick, and they were disallowed because that area had a lot of brick. So
Yeah.
we're trying to keep that consistency in town, that old school feel.
Would be a happy medium for board and residents? Is there a color?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think, you know.
I'm leaning more towards Tim, too, because, first of all, I don't like the fact you painted it without approval. But secondly, I'm not sure I want to approve a facade color without seeing the signage.
And I think that's where we have a hard time visualizing what the sign is going to look like, or signs, with a black building.
Okay.
And I think that's an issue for
I
us.
think one thing that has come out of this meeting is I think we should darken the glass. You know, we're trying to hide what we're doing here. Unfortunately, we are.
Sure.
So, you know, let's consider doing some sort of film on the glass. You know, one step further to hide this. You know, and is black a color that's, you know, attracting people, or is it discouraging people? I don't know. And I'm asking the public, like, is it a color that, you know, oh, I drive by that, I don't really want to go to that location, look at the color, you know? Is it a negative? It could be.
Are there other colors that you would consider?
I mean, if the board's saying gray would be acceptable, then I would recommend gray. You know, I'm certainly not a marketing person. Jen is the regional manager.
With kids at the middle school and a kid at St. Catherine's, I'm trying to discourage them from
Sure.
going those locations. So is
And-
black the right color? I don't know.
And I get that, I'm a mom. I have an infant, I gave birth in November, I have a 10-year-old, I have a 17-year-old. So I get that for sure, and I can fully understand.
By the way,
that.
we don't sell to anyone under 18.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's two of your main products aren't even going to be sold this.
that's right,
Correct.
that's right.
And I do want to be clear that our employees go through extensive training for that. Spot fake IDs and how to handle if somebody, a minor, comes into our store. So I do want to make that clear also. But I think you're right. I think maybe we can come to a happy medium here. And if gray is the way to go, we can for sure. But if you're hoping for a sign pack, I think we can.
Yeah, I mean,
together,
we don't have an idea on the sign yet
Correct.
because of the obvious fact that the name has kratom in it, and the ordinance says you can't sell kratom there.
Yeah.
So
That's where
we
we're
don't,
under the predicament,
we
yeah.
don't know what we're going to do for a sign. Maybe we don't,
You're tied to this location due to a lease?
yeah, we have a 10-year lease.
Maybe you could sell flowers, I don't know.
Well, it
Well,
kind of is,
different
it
aspect.
kind of is a flower,
No, I mean ones that are,
not smokable, I understand. you know, that's a huge marketing decision whether, you know, to change the name of the company because.
What's the timeline? How soon are you looking to open? Can you come back next month and show us a new color?
I don't know if we have a timeline at this point. I mean, I'm sure they would want sooner than later. I don't have too many decisions with that aspect.
Yeah, see, this is holding up what Andy's trying to do with the other inspections. Then that's why we were trying to get this out of the way to resolve this.
To clarify that point, the only holdup with open violations would be the issuance of the certificate of occupancy.
Sure.
There is an application for permits in place. They have been processed, and there's essentially certificates of insurance information required that we haven't gotten from the applicants yet. So what is the holdup, because I want that to be clear to everybody, is that, you know, if there's still this violation with essentially violation through the signage and the painting, it holds up the issuance of a certificate of occupancy once all inspections have been performed and passed.
So,
We're not really holding them up then, because they have to come back for signs anyway.
well, we may not have a
The
sign.
holdup right now on the issuance of permits is related to providing insurance information. So this is not a holdup.
What about the inspections?
It sounds like you're saying that
We
because
would move
there's
forward, we would not issue, we would move, if they completed the packet and got us the information that we've requested from them,
You would do the
we
inspection?
would perform the inspections, and we would do all the steps that I've outlined in my letters. And the last step would be the issuance of a certificate of occupancy, which would not happen until all of this was resolved.
The facade has to be resolved before that.
Facade and
Whatever signs we're going to use.
signage.
Andy, if I'm correct, the facade, the issue with the facade is not the facade itself. That's not what's holding you up. It's the fact that there's a violation because of the
It's the
facade.
violation. We have a violation. They painted the outside of the building and the signage. They were two separate violations issued by Kevin Kachansky.
So if I were to summarize it and say, because the building was painted without seeking approval first, there's a violation.
Correct.
Had you gone and gotten the, you know, the C of O before you came for a facade change, you would have had that, and then we would be doing the same thing that we do with every other business in this
Correct.
township, where if there's an issue with how these things come, with how you're changing a building or how the sign is being presented, and we don't like how it is, because, I mean, honestly, the black is an issue, and so I know personally I would like to see multiple options of different renderings. And that's the type of thing that normally, when there's not a violation outstanding preventing you from continuing your business or going through your business, that's something that we work out with the businesses over time.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that holds up the business. The only reason that this would be holding up the business at this point is because there is an existing violation.
If I was unclear about that, I apologize.
So-
It's curing the violation.
Correct.
Yeah.
So our next meeting is April 12th, and you need to get plans into our board, or into the township by March 22nd.
Okay.
So we can do a continuance, if that's okay with everybody?
Otherwise, I'm not going to approve this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other option.
We'll give you, we could deny it, or we can give them the opportunity to correct the problem and continue it to April. I think that's a fair enough.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
If I could just
Yes.
pose one question?
Sure.
If you were going to come back with signage and the new color, I think the process would be to deny this and do a new application, because there is no signage with this application.
It would be unlikely that signage would be ready by then, because again, this is a major decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
I'm just
60
making that
stores, and
point.
59 of them go by the name CBD Kratom, so,
Understood. I just wanted to be clear on
yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Okay. So Andy, to make a continuation would not be a problem at this point?
You can do a continuation.
Right.
We'd have to have the new information and, you know, packet to
Right.
us by the deadline.
Right, and the information being a
new
proposal
color.
for different colors.
The new color. You'd have to provide us what the color you would be using, and the deadline is the 12th.
Okay.
April
Let
12th.
me even try to provide more
March
clarity for
22nd.
what will help, I think, help the board actually move this along. The color is one issue. While you might not have the signage determined as to this is the name that's going to be on the sign, because, well, you're trying to figure out if I put the name of my business on the sign, am I actually gonna get sued because there's a violation of an ordinance now that says I can't sell the thing that's actually saying being advertised here? Understood. So I am a lawyer and I'm happy not to be in that situation. But what I could say is, from the aesthetics, let us see some different color sign of the facade. Let us see where you would propose to put signage. So, I mean, obviously there is some connection between what a sign's colors are and the building and things like that.
Okay, we'll see.
Let us know what you're looking, if you're trying to put something on this building, which I don't know that Starbucks had something on the building itself.
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think they did.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
monument sign all they had.
So, those are things for you to consider. Give us that type of information so we can kind of get a concept of what the building is going to look at. Because quite frankly, I want to know more about what the building is going to look like and how the building is going to look like in the township rather than what you're selling in there. For the purpose of this board, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
If we kind of go back to the first application tonight where they said they want to come in and paint the trim black.
Yeah.
We want them to come back.
Exactly.
Let's see what you're going to paint.
Are you going to keep
Yeah.
with the aluminum casings? Those are the things that we want to know. Are you going to be tinting the windows like, or that type of stuff? Because that helps us figure out, irrespective of what you're selling, this is a building in our township that we want to know how it's going to look in our township, because that's what we're looking at.
And from what we understand tonight, the board looks favorably upon tinted windows. It's not something that if we propose tinted
landscaping,
windows, it's
too.
going to come back at us.
I've never actually dealt with I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, it's funny,
just so
you
you
know,
can't see it from the sidewalk. Okay,
You know, you go by a lot of these stores, it's almost like you can't really see the business they're conducting in the store. The way- Yeah.
Sure.
Can I ask a question about the frost? Is that?
Okay, quick, public comment, sir?
Yeah. So what's the coverage? Isn't it 20% or less?
Letter.
that would be a
Lettering.
sign.
Yeah, window signage.
So you can do a frost coating, like you could actually make the glass like one directional, I guess, right? So, yeah, is that, I mean, but isn't that kind of like painting it? Like, I don't know how you qualify, the 20% was the question, and obviously that's with lettering and logo work, right? Okay, so if the actual company, where is this? There we go. So if this is these folks, and this is a picture of their store, if they're putting a marijuana, it must be a fake marijuana, is that a fake marijuana plant, or is that just?
They don't have to answer that. It's
No,
okay.
but is that considered a sign?
No.
So if it's not on the glass, but they put a big sign behind it saying something different,
We
is
do
that
have some
considered a
discretion
sign?
in what they can put in the windows for our signage.
Right, but if they put a poster board,
For
like
the
here.
signage in the window, but if you're talking about the products inside the store,
No, I'm saying like a A-frame, an A-frame billboard, just a question, A-frame that has a big sign that says Kratom Trunk or Treat for the kids, 5 to 8 on Saturday, and they have that on a big billboard sign, and you can see it as you walk by the building. Is that a sign? And would the township crack down on that later, or is that just going to be?
They can't put A-frame temporary signs on the sidewalk anywhere in front of their building.
And if it's inside the
We have
building?
We have discretion about what is considered a sign.
A sign, right, so you
So
could
until
come
they
back,
in with something, we can't answer your question.
I got you, okay, so, but if that happened, the township views that as a sign, right?
I'll put it to you this way, there's discretion for what the businesses do with inside their store. If it's not an actual signage in the window, doesn't necessarily come before our board.
Okay, so that really wouldn't, so if they had a joint rolling
If I may,
competition
I think what
sign,
would happen is, if there was an issue or a complaint, that would then go to the zoning officer to inspect and take a look at, and then they would make a
Okay.
determination.
all right.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I think we understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying the limitations of what our board is.
I understand, and that was my question, so thank you, and we ask that you consider denying the application, asking them to reapply correctly and not make changes on the fly, and we also want to make sure that when they submit for the color, they submit for everything, because what I've seen in townships is they get a color, they put a sign up, and then the poor township has to fight for the business to take it down, and then they get to have free advertising for as long as they can fight, and if we haven't fined them, I'm not sure how they're going to learn, because they did do it overnight, and I know you say there was a mistake, and okay, but really it was very deceitful, and not how we should be doing business in Wayne, in my opinion. So,
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And one other? Okay. Yes.
Just get to the microphone first.
That picture that Keith showed of those products, they were actually in that store.
Okay.
Before they got a certificate of occupancy, that signage on, everything, that
Okay.
was in their store.
All right.
So a mistake?
We'll keep that in mind when you come in.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so March 22nd is your drop dead date to have plans in the Township building for our April 12th meeting, okay? So
Okay.
at this point, I think if I hear everybody correctly, we're going to do a continuation for the color of the building only, unless you guys get your
That's the
act
only thing
together.
before us, right?
Yeah, that's the only application before you is the color of the building.
Before us is the application for the
Right.
color. Now, one thing that I was thinking of here is eventually, once we see a color that we want, maybe we could make a conditional approval such that we would reopen it based upon the signage later on.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
if
All
we're
right.
talking about trying to cure the notice of violation, that would do that. Would also give us the option to say, well, no, I don't like this with this signage.
Right.
So
Well-
later on, I'm kind of saying this so that
We
it
we
doesn't
would,
slip my own mind so
Yeah.
that you guys can remember.
Got it.
we would never put signage up without coming before the board for approval.
Tim,
what if-
if
no, no.
if they want to come back with signage, it's going to be a separate application.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
But
can
you could
come
do
in
it
for
both
the
at the
April 12th
same
meeting
time.
also.
Yeah.
What I'm
There'd be
Separate
suggesting
from this.
What I'm
Okay.
suggesting, and I'm telling you guys this
Yes.
so that it's in your brains as well as mine.
Yeah, I got
Is
it.
that if we, on this application for the color of the building, we say, okay, you can have it this color for now. But we're gonna make that a conditional approval such that once a sign is approved, we could say,
I
hey,
got it.
Yes.
this is something I'm not sure.
The signs are going to have to
procedurally if this
marry
is
into
right
the
there, But
color.
we
Yeah.
could say, I wanna reopen the facade based upon the signs.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we
Okay.
understand that if there's a sign going up, it would have to jibe
Right.
with the color of the building. Like, we understand that.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay?
Keeping with the landscape of Radnor Township, the streetscape, the historic look of the town.
Yeah, definitely.
So just work with us, and we'll work with you guys.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
I'm going to let you make a motion on this.
In the matter of DRB 2023-18, I move to continue this matter.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Andy, any further comment?
No comment, I'm fine.
Okay, great. And you guys are okay
Have a
with
good night.
everything? Okay, great. All right, and it looks like that's going to do it for tonight's meeting. We'll see you April 12th. Thank you.
I may not be here in May. I'm pretty sure